Hey besties, so one of the main questions that I keep getting is my prison birth story. So I'm going to give it to you. Now, in order to tell you that, I have to start way back 11 years ago. I have 11 years sober. Hi, my name is Christian. For those of you who do not know me, yes, I gave birth to a baby in prison. And most recently, I adopted a baby that was born in prison. Crazy, right? God writes beautiful stories, doesn't he? Okay, so my prison birth story is, I always just like to preface the whole kind of thing. So I grew up with addicted parents, had an addicted home, and then I took that path myself, and was addicted to IV meth and Xanax until I found out I was pregnant. So January 28th, 2015, I found out I'm pregnant. Now, I'm a drug dealer. I'm on drugs. I'm high as a kite when I take the pregnancy test. And I never use again. Okay, so I get sober on January 28th, 2015. And then on March 25th, I go take my time because I was out on a lot of bonds, like hundreds of $1,000s of bonds, all over the news, like crazy, for distribution. And so I go to court and I take my time, and I'm at Washita Correctional Center, and then I'm at Tallulah Prison, and then I get sent to St. Gabriel. So imagine me, I'm 21 years old. I am in prison. Now let me tell you about prison. So this is the old St. Gabriel that flooded. When I got there, I was put into this place called Leo, which is lockdown. It was a dungeon, okay? An absolute dungeon. There was no air. It was the heat of the summer. I'm big pregnant. Mind you, I was 98 pounds when I got pregnant. All I did in the jail was eat and sleep and try to make it through the day, read some books. Like, I had gained some weight, okay? And I had never been pregnant before. I did not know, like, not to just eat whatever. Like, and then eating in jail, like, it was not good. I was big, I was hot, I was pregnant in a dungeon. And my cellmate was someone who had 44 years for murdering their baby. It was wild. It was insane. So I'm in there. I was in there for 6 weeks, and then they put me into general population. I went into a dorm called Libra. I absolutely love whoever named them by the astrological signs. They were a vibe. But I was in Libra. I wish I would have been in Sagittarius because that's my sign. But nonetheless, I'm in Libra. And it's actually, like, not glorifying prison in any way, not glorifying anything that I did. Distribution's horrible, but prison is not what I expected. Now, Leo, the dungeon thing, that is what I expected. But actual prison, kind of like a college campus, basically. Like, you were, like, just in a room. Like, it was not, like, the worst thing you've ever imagined. Like, the hardest part is being separated from your family. Now, the night that I go to have him, I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 on this. I don't know how to tell a story the short way, so you get all the details every time. But the night that I was going to have him, I was getting my wisdom tooth. Mind you, I'm only 21 years old. And so my wisdom tooth is coming in. It's hurting really, really badly, and I'm in a lot of pain. So I've been up for days, like all weekend. Now, he was due on September 1st, but in prison, they won't tell you when you're being induced. They want you to go in labor on your own. I never did. I never went into labor on my own with any of my kids. My cervix doesn't open. I have to be forced into labor through induction. But they made me be pregnant for 42 weeks. Yeah, his due date was September 1st. They did not send me to the hospital to be induced until September 14th. And then after 29 hours of labor, I gave birth to him at 11:18 a.m. on September 15th. My little Virgo baby. But, okay, so I'm like up pacing, and I'm walking to the front of the jail because I'm going to get a sick call because I'm like, I have to have ibuprofen. Well, they don't let you keep ibuprofen or anything on you. You have to do a sick call. So as I'm coming up the hallway, I'm like getting the CO, and she's like, babe, you're about to be in way more pain than that because you are going to have this baby. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, finally, like, and I knew like it had to be coming because they couldn't just like make me be pregnant forever, right? And so they load me up and they take me like, they shackle me up and they take me. It's dark outside. It's like the middle of the night. Like, I think they did that for like security purposes. And they take me to the hospital. And I remember walking in there, the Baton Rouge Women's Hospital, and I'm shackled and everyone's looking at me and I'm pregnant. And I'm like, what have I done with my life? Oh, it makes me want to cry thinking about it. But I walk in and they put me in there, which I will say, now that I've had other babies, like, it wasn't that different of an experience, and the people there were angels. Like, they were super nice. And I didn't have like drug use history while I was pregnant. My very first drug test, like, because I went to the doctor the day I found out I was pregnant, had drug use in it, but they had months and months of other drug tests and stuff following, saying like I wasn't on drugs anymore, but they knew like I was in prison, so obviously it wasn't a good vibe. And so they weren't super mean, but they were like asking questions. I had this one nurse who was really, really precious, but I just kept asking them for Tylenol for my tooth. I was like, you've got to get this tooth pain gone. I was like, I don't care about anything else. Just give me Tylenol, ibuprofen, please. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and come back for part 2 of the labor. Okay, love you, bye. Hey, besties, here's part 2 of the prison birth story. Okay, so at this point, I'm at the hospital. I'm being took in, and I'm 21 years old. I'm 42 weeks pregnant with a little boy named Cash, and I am they're asking me all the questions. They're doing all the things. They're hooking me up to IVs and all of that. Okay, so you can't have your family there. There is no family. No one can know that you're there. It's a flight risk because someone could come try to escape you, which I was about to get out anyway, so no one was coming to escape me. I was just trying to do my time and get home to my baby. It was like this weird feeling because, like, okay, so I'm sorry, it makes me emotional, like it's still traumatic to this day. Even though my baby was reunited with me after a month and he's never left my side. He's literally upstairs in his bedroom right now. I love him, but it was just really a hard thing to do because, like, they're wanting you to have this baby, like they're inducing you or whatever, but you know, like, as soon as you have this baby that they're going to take him. And I just have to add this in, getting a little off topic, but whenever I was at the hospital waiting on Chosen to be born, and for those of you who don't know, I had a baby in prison, and 10 years later, last year, I adopted a baby from prison. So with baby mama, I was able to be at the hospital. No one was allowed to do that because of the policy and procedure for the prison I was at. But locally, the warden allowed me to be at the hospital. I just wasn't allowed to see her. And I just kept crying, like, the whole time. Like, I was just heartbroken for her because I know that feeling. Like, I'm such an empath anyway, but I knew how she was feeling. And I made her, like, a basket. And, like, I just tried to make it the best experience that I could. But I just knew how difficult it was. Like, and she wasn't going to be reunited with him after a month. And I just can't imagine what she went through. It still makes me so emotional for anyone who has to experience giving birth in prison. It is absolutely awful. But it was the consequences of my actions from addiction. So back on track. Sorry, I tell sideways stories. We'll be all over the place. I'll have you here, there, and yonder. But okay, so I'm in the hospital. I'm in the room with guards. Like, there's like 2 guards in there, and they start doing the things like they put these pills inside of me, Cytotex pills or something. I can't remember what they're called. Little things that like open your cervix. That didn't work for me. They had to put one of those balloons. I've actually had to have this done with, I think, every baby, but the balloon that opens you up, my cervix just like doesn't open for some reason. And so they do the balloon, they fill it with water. Well, that was really traumatic. Then they pop my water. I'm all alone. I'm only 21. Like, I don't know. To me, that's still a baby. Like, it was not a vibe. I was, like, crying. I was, like, walking around, like, with this puppy pad in between my legs, leaking water with, like, strangers in the room. Like, all I wanted was my mama and my mama. That's it. I just wanted them, and I was like, this is not good. What have I done with my life? But thankfully, they were angels. Like, honestly, they were so, so sweet and kind. And they had had children before. And God had went before me and ordained that. And so then I like was not dilating. This happens to me in most labors. But I was not dilating. It was not working. And they started, like, after so long, like, this is the other thing. I was so scared to get an epidural because I, like, thought it was going to paralyze me. So, like, I would not get an epidural. And so they were like, we really think you need some pain medicine. Like, you're in severe pain. And I was so scared because I'm allergic to, like, most opiates. Codeine, codone, and all derivatives. Like, I'm not an opiate girly. Like, I cannot do it. I can't even take tramadol. That stuff makes me feel awful. Like, I hate that feeling. That throw up, itchy feeling, don't like it. And so I was so scared to take anything, but they were like, well, the only thing we know to give you, which is really crazy thinking back on this because people die from this every day, but this is what they did. They gave me fentanyl because it was the shortest acting opiate, so that if it did give me a reaction, it would wear off quickly. So they gave me that, and I remember as they were putting it in my IV, I tried to back out, and it was already in me, and that stuff was absolutely horrible. Like, all it did was, like, in between contractions, I'd be like this, and then I'd wake up and be like, ah, and then, ah, like, it was awful. Like, wish I would have never let them do that. So I had one little dose of that in 29 hours. So then they were talking after the 24-hour mark. They're like, babe, you're gonna probably have to get a C-section. And, like, they were like, you have to get it. We're gonna have to give you an epidural for the C-section. Like, you're gonna have to. And I was like, no. I was crying. I was like, please, I'm gonna be paralyzed. Like, no. And so they went ahead and gave me the epidural. I finally, like, agreed to it. And I'm telling you, the moment that they gave me the epidural, the moment they gave it to me and were, like, rolling me back over, I was like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. I have to use the bathroom. And the lady was like, really? And I had been at 6 centimeters for, like, to the point they, like, unhooked me from the IV, let me go take a shower, like, halfway through this. Like, we're like, you need a break. Like, we're going to let you eat. Like, you're going through it. And they were like, he has blonde hair. Like, he's coming. And I was like, what? He was out in 3 pushes. My little angel baby. Oh, I love him. And when I tell you, I sat up with this baby in my arms the entire time I was at the hospital. I sat up. I was so tired. I was so exhausted, but I would not go to sleep. I would not go to sleep at all. Like, I just held him. And it was so cool. The guard that was, like, the last person on shift that had to come and get me to take me back to the prison, she kept, like, pushing them off and telling them I wasn't ready. She kept being like, no, they're not ready yet. Which the jail people were already mad that it took me so long to, like, have the baby. They were like, what's up with this? Like, acting like I could control that he wouldn't come out. And they thought it was suspicious. And I was like, I don't know how to make him. Like, it was crazy. And then whenever they did take him out, I pitched a fit to get him circumcised. They weren't going to circumcise him because he was, like, a ward of the state or whatever. Not DCFS or anything like that, but he was under DOC, like, until my grandmother could come get him. And so they took him out to be circumcised. I'd already told him bye. I thought I was done, and I had held it together pretty good. I was proud. And they brought him back in, and I lost it. I lost it. It was bad. The second goodbye was too much for me. And me and Cash actually went last year with Chosen to that hospital, and I thought it would be, like, a fun experience, but it was very traumatic. Like, the smell in the parking lot, I saw the parking spot that the van was in that they loaded me back up into without my baby, and I, like, started panicking. It was a lot more traumatic than I thought it would be, but it was a good experience. So whenever I was secure back in the prison, they called my mama, and she drove down and picked him up. And so whenever I got back to the prison and was able to make a call, they had already called her, and she 5 hours later was there to get him. And He was born on September 15th, and I got out on October 15th, 2015, so 1 month to the day. Also, really, really cool story. I'm going to try to tell it in the last minute of this video. The nurse asked me when I was going to get out, and I told her, I heard God say in a month. And so I told her in a month. Well, I had no idea how I was getting out. And if you want to hear the rest of that story, it's going to cut off, but drop a comment below and I'll tell you how it worked out that I got out early. Okay, love you, bye.
I was followed home by a man from the gas station. Let's get into it. So today I went to a local gas station to get gas. And when I pulled in, there was two men at the gas station outside. One was cleaning a window on a car, and I live in New Jersey, so we don't pump our own gas. And so usually you don't see people like outside their cars generally doing things. Usually you see like if someone's doing something to someone's car or like giving gas or washing the window, it's usually like a worker. So I just thought he was like a worker washing the back of his car. And then there was another guy next to me who worked there. He was like sitting in the booth, so I know he worked there. And so the person who was washing his window on the right-hand side, I like looked over because I thought he was coming to give me gas, and he like he stopped washing his window, walked in front of my car, past my window, but like cut off the other guy who was coming to give me gas. So the other guy like kind of stopped and then waited for him to walk past. And then this guy asked me like, oh, what do you need? So I told him like, whatever, this much cash, gas. And I kind of like looked in my rear view, and that guy had put the like squeegee for the window in the container. So why he decided to like walk in front of my car to do that, I don't really know, but he didn't have to do that. Like he could have went behind me. But it was like kind of weird, but I was like, whatever, I don't even really think anything of it. Got the gas. The guy who gave me gas was like such a nice man. He cleaned the back of my window. I looked to my right, and that person got in their car. So I was like, oh, that was his car. Like I didn't realize that was his car. So the person who originally was at the gas station cleaning his window was actually he was cleaning his own window to his own car. So he got in his car and he drove off. So I was like, so weird. Just, I don't know. So then as I'm sitting there waiting for my gas to be done, there was a train. A train is by my house. So a train came, and so it backed up traffic a little bit. And so I was finished with my gas. I gave the guy the cash, rolled up my window, and I pulled in front of the gas station entrance or exit and waited because there was no one behind me, and the train was there, and we weren't leaving yet. Like the light wasn't green. So I waited until the light turned green, and when the light turned green, somebody let me go, and I just, cut into the line and went on my merry way. I went around this like little jug handle and then went to my house. My house is approximately, once I got onto that line of cars, my house is approximately 3 minutes from this gas station. So I get in the jug handle, I go around, I turn, I go up the block, I turn onto my street. Again, not thinking anything. I was on my way home. I was going to meet my parents. It's a really, really great day for me, which is a completely separate note. So I was really like, kind of like had a little bit of anxiety. I was like so excited, and I pull up to my house. I pull into my driveway, and as I'm getting out to get out of my car, I see someone pull up my block. I don't have a block that sees a ton of traffic. So I noticed the car, and it was that car that left the gas station way before me. And the other thing I noticed that when the guy left the gas station, he had lights on his car. They weren't like red and white, like police lights, but they were on top of his car, and they were white. I didn't really register like what other color they were. I did notice that it was out of state plates, but that was it. So I was like, so I'm in my driveway and I'm like, what the hell? And I look, and the guy pulls up. He pulls in front of my house. He pulls in front of my car, and he rolls down his window, and my eyes now must have been at this point completely bulging out of my head. I'm not like, in that moment, I was adrenaline. I wasn't scared. I was like, are you like, fill in the blank? And I was like, and he was like, hi, I have a question for you. Are you single? I wish that I had that view. I have the whole thing on camera from multiple angles, but I don't have my face on the camera. I mean, honestly, the man, my eyes must have bulged out of my head. I was, before I could get, I was, are you, and I told him choice words of what he can go do. He was very startled. He was very much taken back, but that a woman of all people would speak to him this way. And he proceeded to stick out his tongue and make a face at me, and then completely peel away from my house. Now, in the moment, I wish that obviously I would have gotten the license plate very quickly, but I want to just go over a couple of things about this scenario, which, by the way, spoiler alert, it's taken care of. But I will tell you that I noticed this guy at the gas station, number one, because he was creepy, okay? Unfortunately, as women, we are just accustomed to that. Creepy men, you get the vibe, and I just had the vibe. I didn't know whether he worked there or whether he didn't. It didn't really matter. He was creepy. He had looked at me, and again, because I guess my head turned in his direction, that was some kind of formal invitation that he felt like he was, I don't know, entitled to my attention, which obviously he was not, and decided that he felt like it was in his best interest, ready for this, to leave the gas station ahead of me, hide out wherever he decided to do that, wait for me to leave the gas station, follow me home, and then decided he thought it was good for him to roll down his window, block me in, and decide if he was going to try to what, ask me out? I wish that I could explain to men sometimes the actual entitlement and audacity of men to be able to think that that's something that they can do. Now, this is not all men. I'm not a man hater, but this is the kind of things that women have to deal with when it comes to men and their audacity. Now, my town is unbelievable in terms of their response to this situation. Everything was on camera. They have his license plate within minutes of this happening, and everything is taken care of, if you want to say that. I have multiple canines in my house, of which were losing their mind during this situation. So there's that, in addition to the protection that I have, and I'm not worried about it, but it's one of these situations where women just need to be aware at all times, literally at all times, and never, ever let your guard down or be quiet, okay? Ever. I showed that man that I was not scared and that he had absolutely zero entitlement to me or anywhere near my property. And he got the hint, and hopefully will learn his mistake, because the next time won't obviously be that nice.
Hey, y'all. I know. You haven't seen me in 2 weeks. I know. Everybody calm down. Okay? Okay. I told y'all I was taking a break. It's only been 2 weeks, guys. But I do have a story for you. What the fuck is in my hair? Before story time, let's discuss, okay? 2 weeks hiatus. I have so much to tell y'all, okay? Honestly, not so much to tell as much as so much to show you. I've been vlogging. I just haven't been posting it. So when you start seeing a bunch of hot girl vlogs come back up on your feed, don't say nothing. Y'all ask for it, okay? They're coming, I promise. Let's start story time, though. This story, honestly, kind of crazy. I still can't believe I did it, okay? Once upon a time, I helped my homegirl essentially drive a man insane. Not like the oh, you're driving me crazy, you're giving me a headache insane. I'm talking like padded room, straight jacket insane, okay? Okay, my homegirl, we're gonna call her Mary, got cheated on by her man. We're gonna call him Sam. Sam and Mary. So Sam cheated on Mary, and Mary, doing the logical thing, she did everything in the book to embarrass him. So Mary went out. She talked to a homeboy. She blasted him on every social media platform. And basically, after the cheating happened, he was like, you're doing too much. Like, this is just too big of a reaction for what happened. And I was sitting there like, too big of a reaction? How you gonna tell me how to react about my feelings? These are my feelings, not yours. And you did it. You caused it. How you gonna tell me how to act about what you did? I don't like that koala brain. I don't like that. So after Mary does all of the things, she's like, I still don't feel better. He's still not pissed. Like, I don't know what more to do. I said, well, he's driving you crazy, right? Why don't you just drive him crazy? She said, what do you mean? I said, it's time to start psychological warfare. If you don't feel good enough after the evil things you've done, it's time to be eviler. Okay? She goes, I don't even know what you mean by that. I said, I don't know, girl. You've done pretty much everything in my playbook. This is a new one. Let's try this. Let's drive him insane. Let's send him to a mental asylum where he belongs. So as I'm brainstorming, because like I said, this is my first time. This is a first. A homegirl who had to use my playbook didn't work. And then she's asking for more. This is a first. I don't know. I lost my breath. Oh, it's in here. Got stuck in my head, Lord. Anyways, like I said, this was my first time. I ain't never tried anything like this. I didn't even think about anything like this because honestly, my revenge plot's pretty thorough, but apparently not for Mary. So I sit down and I use this big brain. I turn it on and I start brainstorming. And I'm like, you know what? Let's turn his life into a horror movie, right? Why don't we just make him think he's like haunted or something? I said, first things first, sister, we need a key to that crib. Okay, we need to be getting in the crib at all times of the night, anytime we can. So you know what she does? She puts on her big girl pants, she forgives him, and she gets access to that key. Now, she doesn't have a key to the house, so we have to get a little bit more crafty. And when I'm saying crafty, I mean we go to the craft store. We buy clay and that silver clay stuff, right? That turns into metal once you light it on fire. Yeah. So they're hanging out one day. She gets a copy of the key. You know what? Matter of fact, anybody that could send me to jail, this is a joke. Okay? Anyways, she gets his key. She takes the regular clay, gives me a stamp of the front side and flips it over, gives me a stamp of the back side. Perfect, we're good. We let the clay harden because honestly, I didn't feel like mixing the two because I didn't think that was going to work. So we let the clay harden and then I start making the key. Or at least like the piece of the key that we could use to get in, okay? We make the key out of the silver clay. Okay? Okay, anyways. We start small, right? So I think the first thing we did, like, she made sure he wasn't home. And like, he's very OCD. I forgot to say. This is perfect for Sam because Sam is OCD, okay? So he makes sure everything is spick and span before he leaves the house. Keep that in mind. First day we start. What do? We start small, right? Like I said. We go in when he's not there and we open all his kitchen cabinets. He comes home. He's like, what the fuck's going on? I definitely closed these. I don't leave my kitchen cabinets open. We tell him like, I don't know. Not we. Mary, because I'm not involved. Mary, I am involved, but not with him, right? Anyways, Mary tells him like, no, you're just tripping. Maybe you just left them open, right? Gaslight. Maybe you just left them open. He's like, okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe I did. We leave it alone the second day. Third day, we go back. We open all the cabinets. He texts her again, like, it happened again. Like, I think something's going on. She said, no, you're probably just tripping. Gaslight. You're probably just tripping. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, your cabinets, you probably just left them open. We do that for like a week. He's like, I think I'm getting haunted or something. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's no reason that these cabinets should be open. Okay, we move on. Cabinets are done with. When he says he's getting haunted, she goes, no, I think you're just crazy. I think you're just overreacting. Uno reverse, because he did that same thing to her when he cheated. Now, my personal favorite was we picked something like that doesn't matter, but you see every day. And we changed the color of it. We painted over it, literally. It was like a little statue, like a little elephant statue he had. And it was like green, like jade green. And then I looked at it, I said, do you think he'll notice if we change the color of this? Like, is he that OCD? Like, I want to see. So what do? We painted red. We painted it over red. But like not a bright red where it was like, okay, this is not supposed to be. It was like a, I don't know how to explain it. It was muted red. I don't know. We just picked it up, okay? It was a muted red. I don't know how to explain the color. That's all I got for you. It was noticeable, but not that noticeable, okay? Okay. After we changed the color of that, he texts her. He's like, there's this statue I had that, like, I swear, I mean, I don't look at it every day, but I swear it was green and it's red. Like, am I going crazy? She's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's always been red. I've been over many times and it's always been red. I don't know what you're talking about, what you're going through, but it's always been red. We leave it red for like a week. And then I paint it back green, like almost the exact color green, but like it wasn't the exact color. I couldn't find the exact color, but it was very, very close. Like you couldn't tell unless you knew, you know? He texts her. He goes, I told you it was green. It's always been green. Look, he sends her a picture. And she's like, that's so weird. I swear it was always red. And then basically they make plans for her to come over. And before she gets to his crib, like before they hang out again, I go back in and I change it the same red that I had it before. And when she goes in, she's like, I knew it was red. Like, where did you get that other picture? Like, why are you lying about the color of a statue? You know? I'm going to just go through a list of everything we did so we could get to, like, when he got to the hospital. Okay? We stole the right shoelace out of, or the shoelace out of all of his right shoes. We changed his toothbrush every day for like a week one time. What do? We would leave windows open. We stole his watch one time and then made it reappear in like 2 weeks later. This was like, I want to say like a 3-month period of just driving him crazy before the culmination. His last and final straw was we paid a guy to put on a black suit, like the full black, you know, the morph suits, the full black one where his face is covered. It's all black, right? We paid a guy to go in at 3 a.m. Witching hour, if you know, you know. 3 a.m. to go stand in corners and just move around a little bit. But he had to be out. He only had to do it for an hour. It was only from 3 to 4 a.m. because we know he gets up at 7 a.m. You know, it was a little risky. This one was the riskiest, the biggest risk we took, but baby, did it work. We paid him to go stand in quarters and just move around a little bit. So that man was seeing shadows. We honestly didn't even know if this was going to work because we weren't present. And honestly, we didn't know if he was going to see this man for an hour, if he was going to be up or what. But he did see it. We got a call. Well, she got a call at 4:30 talking about, I'm seeing shadows. Like, I got to go to the hospital. Like, I'm going to go. I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, something's going on. I'm going to the hospital. And he drove himself to the nut house, okay? Now, I don't know if the man, like, seeing that shadow drove him to be able to see shadows, like, 30 minutes later because it was driving him crazy. But whatever it was, he did get admitted for 72 hours. He was in there only for a 72-hour hold. It wasn't like we drove him to a mental break, okay? He was only there for 72 hours. Whoop-de-doo. But, yeah, sometimes if you just don't feel like you got your lick back bad enough, start psychological warfare. Sometimes it's better.
So I really want to talk about the time that I saw a skinwalker. I tell anyone that I can about this story because it is just the most bizarre thing I've ever experienced, and it like sends chills down my spine when I think about it. But I really just like wish that I could have the answer to this whole thing. So I'm going to talk about it. So basically, this took place in Reno, Nevada in 2021. And I had just graduated high school and it was the summer, like a day or two before the 4th of July. During the summer, me and my best friend, we would always just like at night go get food and drive up to this little viewpoint and just like eat our food in the car. We went and got like Chick-fil-A or something, and then we drove to this specific viewpoint. It's an elementary school on top of a hill. So this elementary school, it was on the edge of town, and you know, it's like all the town, suburbia, and then basically just nothing past that. Like, it's just like mountains and desert in Nevada. Sometimes we would get wildlife that would like wander from the vast land into like the neighborhoods and stuff. We would get like bobcats, coyote. We also got bighorn sheep. And sometimes they would wander into the neighborhoods. That's important. Most nights, especially in the summer when we would park here, there was like a bunch of other cars with other teenagers. But on this specific night, me and my friend go up there and there were no other cars. It was just our car. So it's probably like maybe 10 o'clock or something. And we're sitting in our car, it's dark, we're eating food. We suddenly hear like fireworks, like neighborhood fireworks, like just like pop, 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 pop. And we didn't think anything of it because it was almost the 4th of July. This big truck comes up to where we were parked and it had its brights on and he like blocked us in. He rolls down his window and he starts yelling things at us. And we're like dumb teenage girls, I don't know. So we rolled down our window to hear him because we couldn't hear him. He's like, "You guys are shooting guns up here, like we have got kids sleeping," and yelling at us. And we were trying to be like, "Sir, like we're two like girls in this car, like like we're not like shooting guns up here." And we were trying to explain that we heard the fireworks too. Like we were like, no, like those were fireworks, like don't worry, we heard them, like it wasn't us. Anyway, he's yelling at us and we're getting really creeped out and we're like, what the fuck? Eventually he's like, okay, whatever, and he drives off. And we're sitting up there, we're alone now, and we're just like, that was really weird, like that made me feel really weird, like we should go home, like it's a weird vibe now, I'm scared, and like let's just go home. We're driving down the hill, and as we come to the base of the hill, our lights shine up, and our lights shine on this bush that is like 15 or 20 feet in front of the car. And standing behind the bush is a naked man, like the body of a naked man, but the head of a bighorn sheep. And our lights shined on it, like our lights literally like right in front of us, just like clear as day, like we saw what we saw. It was just right in front of us, and the image is like burned into my brain of what it looked like. Like I can literally close my eyes and see exactly what I saw. It was a naked man with the head of a bighorn sheep. And the moment our lights flash on it, it ducks down behind the bush. Like it sees us and it ducks really quickly. But it was enough time that we saw what it was and it was looking at us. And I was like, did you see that? To my friend who was driving, and she just turned to me and was like, shh, we were just both like in shock, and she was really frightened because it was like, what the fuck was that? That she just shushed me. She didn't even want to talk about it. She was like, oh my god, no. So we keep driving because we're like, we need to get home. Like this like weird stuff is happening. We like need to go home. So we see that, the thing, the creature, and we keep driving. And then we drive past like an entrance to those neighborhoods, and the guy in the truck is sitting in his truck waiting for us. And I don't even know what he thought, but the guy in the truck is waiting for us, and as we pass by, he pulls out and starts following us. And we noticed him right away. It was his truck, and my friend is in like a low like fishbowl car, and this guy has his brights shining straight into our car. So literally our hearts are racing. We don't know what we just saw, and now this scary guy is following us, and we're freaking out. And I was like, I'm gonna call 911, like what is going on? And so I dialed 911, and my friend was like, okay, just wait, like let me see if I can like lose him. So we get up to this roundabout, and we go around the roundabout like twice, and then we go and exit, and he follows us still. He's following us, and we're like, he's gonna follow us like all the way home. And my house was over there, and I was like, don't drive to my house, I don't want this guy to like know where I live. So we keep driving like all through the neighborhoods, and this guy is still following us. But eventually he just stops following us, and in my mind he probably thought that we were like some rowdy, you know, misbehaved kids, and he was like making sure we were going home. Like, looking back, that's probably what it was, but in the moment, I didn't know that, and it was really scary. So then my friend is like, okay, like, I guess we don't need to call 911, whatever. So she drives me to my house, and we park in the parking lot, and I just had to say something. I was like, okay, like, what was that thing? But it was just weird because we were so, like, mentally just preoccupied about getting away from this creepy man in the truck that we just, like, had no time to think about whatever the fuck creature we saw. So we were just like, just don't talk about it. But then once we parked the car, it was like, okay, what the fuck was that? And my friend and I, like, we have explained what we've seen to each other, like, what it looked like, and we saw the exact same thing. So when I try to, like, explain this story to my family, they don't believe me. And I've told them this story before, and they're like, okay, like, they just don't believe me. But the thing about my friend is that she's the most realist person ever. She's not woo-woo in any capacity. She's not a liar. She's very, like, to the point about everything. And she insists that that is what we saw. And I don't know, it's like we either saw a literal, like, creature, like a skinwalker, that was the body of a man but the head of a bighorn sheep, or we saw an actual naked man running around an elementary school wearing, like, a hyper realistic mask of a bighorn sheep, which might be just as creepy. I still can't drive past that neighborhood and past that elementary school without, like, literally getting the chills, because I'm like, I know what I saw there. Like, it is so scary. And also, in hindsight, I sometimes think that maybe, like, the universe or, like, something out there sent that man to come, like, scare me and my friends so that we would go home, because that creature was, like, stalking us. That's what it feels like to me. So yeah, anyway, that's my paranormal story.
I don't know what is possessing me to get on the internet and tell my business, but I feel like it today, so I'm gonna tell the story of the time that I caught my D1 athlete boyfriend cheating on me. This story is years old, and I'm really telling it because, one, it's now funny, and two, just a reminder to trust your fucking gut and trust your intuition, because you're right every single time. Rewind to my senior year of high school / freshman year of college. Senior year, committed to the school that I was going to be swimming at. Boom. Immediately, basketball player committed to the same school messages me. Should have been red flag number one, but again, I really didn't know about the whole athletes not being shit thing. Shoot me. He messages me. We immediately, like, hit it off, FaceTime. We start going on dates. Looking back, I was 1000% being love bombed. Didn't even know what love bombing was. Again, you live and you learn. Because in, like, a week of texting and calling, he told me he loved me. It's like, I love you too. But anyways, things were going well, and asked me to be his girlfriend so early on. Like, it did not take long at all, but I'm like, you know what, this is go with the flow. He's selling this dream of, like, we're gonna be the athletes at the school together, we're gonna be that athlete couple, this and that. Again, I'm just fucking dumb. Like, this story is me being dumb as fuck because there were so many signs. Let's start with sign number one. This was probably a few months into us dating. I got surgery on my breast because I had a tumor, gotten it removed. I kid you not, 3 days post-op, he decides to pick me up and we decide to hang out. He wants to do, like, painting outside. He was really artsy and creative and shit. So picks me up. We go to the store to get canvases and painting supplies and go in the store. And on the way into the store, this girl, like, is stopping and staring really hard. And I was just kind of, like, thrown off by it. And so then she immediately comes up to him and asks, like, who's this, talking about me? And he was like, my girlfriend, and then proceeds to walk into the store. So I'm like, okay, probably a fanned out girl. I'm stupid. We leave the store. We come out. This girl is waiting by the car. She's waiting by the car, and she's on the phone with somebody. Don't know who she's on the phone with. And she seems hostile, and so he's just telling me to, like, get in the car. I get in the car. We drive. We leave the store parking lot. We get to the intersection. I kid you not. This same girl starts banging on his window at the stoplight in a fucking intersection on a busy road. Banging on his window, on the phone with somebody, screaming and yelling about something. So, like, obviously my adrenaline kicks in because I'm like, what is going on? Like, my heart starts beating. Mind you, I'm bandaged up. So, like, in no way, shape, or form can I defend myself because I'm stitched up. Like, so now we're driving, and this girl proceeds to get in the car behind us. Car starts driving. Car's now chasing us. Car's chasing us and throwing bottles of things at his car. Gatorade bottles, vitamin water bottles at his car. So he eventually pulls into a neighborhood and, like, gets out the car and, like, threatens the fuck out of them, like, tells them to leave us alone. So he gets back in the car. Obviously, me shaking up. I'm like, what was that? He's like, nothing crazy X. Again, me being dumb. I'm like, okay. That story is extremely imperative to now fast forward. So basically after that, our relationships kind of started going downhill because he went to school. If you know, you know, basketball players have to go to college early because they start practicing and they have to live on campus and get adjusted. It's this whole thing. As soon as he goes to campus is when shit starts getting weird. Communication starts going down. I start having the craziest dreams, like on some witch shit, like psychic, vivid dreams of him literally cheating. I'm like, I just had this dream that you're cheating with someone on campus. You're doing this, you're doing that. Another thing is he never wanted me to come to campus. He always wanted to come to me. Like, if we were going to do a date night or hang out or do something, he would always come here. And I'm like, why can't I come to, like, mind you, our school is 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away. We both are from here. The school was 10 minutes away. So I'm like, why can't I come up there? Like, what's the problem? He came up with all these excuses of like, oh, like, we're not allowed to have people in the dorms and this and that. My coach said this. Guys, I hate telling this story because it's so embarrassing on my end. Because I'm just going for all of it. But eventually, like, things get bad to where, like, communication's just terrible. We're arguing a lot. I keep having these dreams. I keep asking him, is there somebody else? He's like, no. So, boom. One day, I don't know what, I'm on Instagram going through my explore page. Kid you not, picture of a girl in these dorms comes up. Now, hold that thought. 2 problems. I'm going to the same school, so I know what the fuck the dorms look like. 2, this girl did not go to Butler. So I was like, And it's crazy because they were living in dorms separated by grade. Her pictures were in the freshman dorms. Now, there were only, I think, 4 freshman players in that class. So that could mean that she belongs to one of those 4 people. I'm pretty sure 2 of them had girlfriends. So now that leaves 2. My boyfriend and somebody else. And, like, it's just one of those things where it's like gut feeling. Looks at her page. They don't follow each other. Which I was like, okay. So then I end up sending it to him. And I was like, do you know who this is? Like, these are the dorms. She's like, he comes up with this whole story of like, that's my teammate's girl. She was there trying to fuck with like one of my teammates, blah, blah, blah. Like just this whole thing. And I'm just like, my dumb ass was like, okay. Now fast forward to the part where he actually got caught. Mind you, at this point, it's been months of me having terrible dreams, crying almost every night, feeling like shit, communication terrible. Fast forward, we finally get on campus, right? So I'm on campus. I'm with my teammates, meeting my teammates, decided to be on campus and all that. So I start filling my teammates in on what's going on because I'm like, my boyfriend plays on the basketball team. This is him, XYZ. We've been having these issues. Boom, boom, boom. I showed them the post of the girl that posted in the dorm. I'm telling them all this stuff and they're like, that's fishy. Kid you not. 2 days later, I am, I think, leaving practice of something of the sorts, and 2 of my teammates went to a Trippie Redd concert. Right. Mind you, they know what my boyfriend looks like because I showed them. Go to a Trippie Redd concert, kid you not, start getting snaps from my teammates of my boyfriend and another girl at the fucking concert. So at this point, I'm heated, fuming, pissed, and I go back to the post and I stalk the girl's page and I see that she has this really distinct tattoo, right? Go back to the snaps my teammate sent me. She has that same tattoo. So I'm like, oh, 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 8. Got it. Mind you, I have video proof. Like, you're cheating, you're caught, you're done. So I take all of his shit that I had, bag it up. Mind you, I lived in the dorm above him. We lived 1 floor apart. Take all his shit, bag it, throw it at his front door. Didn't give a fuck. But I didn't tell him. I don't know how I went about this. I didn't tell him that I knew because I wanted to, like, pop up on him and surprise him. Because I knew if I told him, like, hey, I caught you, he would avoid me at all costs. So I pretend to be like, oh, like, hey, can I borrow something on some chill shit? He's like, oh yeah, come down. Come down. Boom, opens the door. I get on his ass. I'm showing him the video and the pictures. I'm like, so you've been cheating. Caught you. This man is still denying it. He's like, no, that's my friend. Like, I would never cheat. Like, you're getting mad about something that's not true. You don't even know the full story. And I'm like, you're fucking cheating. Like, what the fuck? So after that, I just left, and that was that. Never really spoke to him or interacted with him. Will say though, after I caught him, I kid you not, the school we went to, our campus was small, so of course our business got spread across campus, and he's telling his teammates one story. He's telling his teammates that I'm this crazy ex and I'm obsessed and all these extra things to cover his ass. And so I kid you not, as our business is getting spread, more women are coming to me. So not only was this motherfucker cheating and had like a whole other girlfriend, he was cheating really on the both of us. So yeah, after that, I realized, okay, so when you have dreams, trust your gut. And yeah, athletes aren't shit. Crazy story time. No, I'm dumb. It's just funny to talk about and think about. But yeah, I haven't spoke to that man in years. Don't know what he's doing. Don't care. But it's kind of just like, damn, that really did happen.
Hey guys, so actually, I have to tell you something right now. I love Karma. She's so beautiful. She's such a beautiful thing. So originally, my brother got his driver's license before me because I was scared of driving. And he's younger than me, so he, like, really got a big head about that. And so did my parents, and they were like, he's just more responsible than you, he's just more capable than you. All right. I get my license. First of all, dare I say, Keel already has gotten a speeding ticket. Keel drives, and he, like, white lines through the cars on the highways, like, doesn't, stop signs, red lights, what's that? Like, you know what? And I like to say, I follow the rules of the road because I am terrified of law enforcement. I am so scared. I'm so terrified. Terrified. Horrified. Terrified. If I see a policeman in the passenger seat of the car, I'm like shaking in my boots. My brother's like, I'm a better driver than you. All right. So he's had his car taken away from him, or his license. We used to share this car. And he's had it taken away for months now, right? Because he couldn't pass a drug test. And my parents would keep testing him weekly, and he couldn't pass. Lo and behold, a few weeks ago, he bean boozled them, and he passed his test. I'm not sure what method he used, but there was a method, because come on. And they were like, huh? He's turning over a new leaf. And they bought my uncle's Lexus off of him, and they gave it to him. Meanwhile, by the way, I drive a 2001 Chevy. Dude, that's like falling apart. Keel gets this fancy-ass Lexus. It has all the fucking screens and the whatever. He's only allowed to drive it to work and rugby practice. I'm only allowed to drive my car to work and babysitting. There was a party last night, and he begged my mom. He begged her to go. He's like, please, mommy, I need to take the car. I need to go, like, fuck around with my rugby friends after practice, mommy, please. And so she lets him take the car. I went to bed early. I come downstairs this morning. My dad goes, did you hear what happened? I go, what happened? And my mom is, Richard, why would you say that to her? I wouldn't say anything about it to her. So now I'm really intrigued. I'm like, what happened? Now you need to tell me. Now I'm so like, if she doesn't want me to know, that means I'm gonna think this is the best, like, this is lore that I need to hear right now. So my dad is like, oh, Keel got into an accident. And I go, oh, really? How did that happen? And they go, on his way home from the party last night when he was dropping off Fran. And I go, oh. And he goes, yeah, he pulled out through a stop sign and the car is totaled. And I'm sorry, I busted out laughing. I was cackling in that kitchen this morning. I was like, and my mom was like, you think this is funny? Yeah. This is fucking hilarious. This is so funny. You guys, like, oh my god, like, you don't understand actually how gleeful I am. Fuck you, Marlena, whatever. All right. Keel calls me. Yeah, Bro, I was blasted. I wasn't paying attention. Obviously, as I knew. So then my mom, I hear her talking about it. She's like, yeah, but he was sober, and, like, he wasn't drinking, and he quit weed, and, like, that lady was just coming to... What? Please, why is that kid not with his pants down in the bathroom peeing into a cup right now? I'm sorry, like, are you stupid? Are all of you actually stupid? Are all of you actually stupid? Are all of you dumb? Meanwhile, if this was me, if I totaled my 2001 shitbox, oh my god, it would be the end of the fucking world. The end of the world. It would be the end of the world. They would actually castrate me. And they would bury me alive. Like, but poor Keel. So I'm laughing. She's like, do you not have empathy for him? Why would I have that? Why would I have that? Real question. Why would I have empathy for him right now? I don't. This is so funny. Oh my god, and Karma's so beautiful. And do you know who's not gonna be driving him anywhere? Me. Because guess who owes me $300 since December? Him! No. Do you know what you have? 2 legs and a beer belly. Let's all do the math here. Anyways, said with so much love. This is just hilarious. This is so funny to me. I'm gonna have to block him on TikTok before I post those. Now I'm at work and I'm stuffing my face with treats from the teacher's lounge to celebrate. Because this is so funny.
It's a 2-man horror story because I will forever be traumatized. Forever and ever. It was my best friend's birthday and she got this text from one of these guys that she used to talk to. And he randomly hit her with, hey, 2-man tonight. And we were like, you know what? Fuck it. It's summer. Who cares? Let's do it. We went multiple nights in a row and everything was fine until the last time we went. So basically, me and her are sleeping over at her house. We're having a sleepover and we're like, you know what? We should sneak out tonight and go see them. So we snuck out that night and went to go see them. So basically, we got there and everything's good. And we go through the 2-man, everything's fine. And he starts taking us home. And he's actively shit-talking me in the front seat. Knowing me, I scream something at him. And I'm like, bitch, fucking say it with your chest. Like, I'm right here, the fuck? I was in the back seat. And he's in the front seat, talking shit about me, whispering in my best friend's ear. Like, bitch, say it, come on, say it with your chest. So I said that. He didn't like that. We're going like 45 miles an hour. And he full-blown slams on the brakes in the middle of the road. Like, I go flying. Like, I fly, and my best friend flies. And he was like, ugh. He throws it in reverse, backs up, and turns around and starts heading back towards the other guy's house. Once we get back to his house, he throws the car in park, jumps out, and slams the door, and goes in the guy's house. And I'm like, oh, shit, so how are we getting home now? How the fuck are we getting home now? Because at this point, it's already probably 2 in the morning. Her parents wake up at 6 o'clock. And it's like a 30-minute drive. Actually longer than 30 minutes, but that's not the point. I'm just like, how the fuck are we getting home? Because bitch. Also, both of our phones were almost dead, too. Actually, she didn't even have her phone. She had to leave it at her house. I had my phone. And I was like, yep, we're fucked. So I immediately start texting everyone I know like crazy. Can you pick me up? Can you pick me up? Can you pick me up? Everyone. No. Like, guys, this is an emergency. What are we doing? Like, I actually need help. He comes back to the car, whips the fucking car door open, and he's like, get the fuck out of my car, I'm calling the cops. And I was like, no, call them. Call the cops. Call them. I'm not moving. Call them. And he was like, ugh. And he slams the door and he walks away because I knew his bitch ass wasn't going to call the fucking cops. I knew he wasn't going to call the cops. At the point, no one's able to take us home. So we're like, you know what? Let's start walking. Guys, this was a 40-minute drive. So imagine the walk. I don't know how long that would be, but far as fuck. But that's how fucking doomed we were. Also, mind you, we had no idea how to get home because this is a town both of us have never been in. We never go out this way. So dead phones, no clue where we are, no idea how to get back. So we're lucky, you know what? YOLO it. We started walking because what the fuck else can we do? Yeah, we started walking the complete fucking opposite way. The complete opposite way. And we were doing that for like a good 20 minutes. I was like, shit, walking the wrong way. So we turn around. start walking the right way, obviously. And we stop at this gas station, and we're just charging our phones, and the people are asking us if we're okay. And I was like, yes, because I didn't want the cops to be called, because then we really would have been fucked. Really fucked. The gas station worker keeps asking us, and we kind of keep blowing her off, and we go in the bathroom, and we're kind of just like, what the fuck do we do? What do we do? So we're sitting in the bathroom, and then my friend is like, we should just tell the gas station worker that we do need help. And I was like, yeah, but what if she fucking calls the cops? And she was like, well, tell her not to. So we go out there, and I was like, actually, she said something first. She was like, girls, just be honest. Do you need a ride? And I was like, yes. And then I start crying. I'm like, we need to get home. We stupidly snuck out to go see these boys. And dude, I told her everything. And she was the sweetest woman, literally, ever. She was like, I have kids. I promise I get it. I used to be a teenager once. Don't feel bad. Stop crying. Just calm down. I'll get you guys home safe. How far do you guys live? I was like, we live really far though. And she's like, I don't care. I'll get you guys home. She left work, drove 45 minutes just to take us home. And in the car, she was giving us a talk like a mom. She was like, I'm not mad at you guys or anything, but I just want you guys to know that this is not safe and you have to be careful around people you don't know. And she dropped us off at my best friend's house just in time. Like, guys, this woman... God bless. Because, oh my gosh. So yeah, this is why you need to be careful on two-mans. Also, why I started taking my car everywhere. Because now I'm not stranded. Like, I will never be stranded because I have a way out. So yeah. Be careful with who you hang around, guys.
Okay, hey guys. So, like, as a beginner nail tech, I kind of want to come to y'all and talk about something that literally just happened to me, like, quite frankly, like 5 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. Okay, so starters, my name is Kennedy. I am a nail tech. I am beginner. So, yeah. So, basically, I had a girl book me, right? And, I'm communicating with her the day before her appointment. So, yesterday, I communicated with her, and I was like, hi. I was telling her my address and stuff, and I was like, I have a 10-minute grace period, and after the 10 minutes, you have to pay $10 if you're late. One, I'm beginner, and that means I take longer. And then two, I just feel like it's also my time and it's being inconvenienced. So, the girl says okay and all that stuff. So today at like 2:45, she texts me talking about I'm on the way. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know if she's gonna get here exactly by 3, but the 10-minute grace period, like, it should work. So it's going on. I say okay. I'm looking at the time, it's 3:13. So I text her, I'm like, hey, are you like, here? Because if she was gonna say like she's here or something, I would have let it go because that's only 3 minutes off my grace period. She didn't respond, so then 3:17, she come texting me. She's like, I'm here. So, mind you, her appointment was at 3. That's, you went past the grace period and then you almost went by it again. Well, you went past it already, and it almost added another 10 minutes. That's 3:20. Like, that's 3:20. Like, by the time, if she would have came at 3, I would have been already done with cuticle prep, and I would have been trying to put her nails on and start doing her nails. So, I communicate to her. I'm like, hey, unfortunately, I'm going to have to charge you a $10 late fee because you are late. And then she never responds. So I see her mom, I see her out the car, so, I walk out, and then I walk back in my house, just to see, like, if she's coming, like, is everything good? So, as I come out the house, her mom's, like, coming, like, to my door. So, I'm just standing there, and she's like, hi, so what's this late policy thing? And I'm like, hi, ma'am, I'm a beginner. I have a policy. My policy is after my grace period, you have to pay $10. Mind y'all, her appointment without the without the late fee would have only been $20. So if I'm adding a 10, that's 30. That's how much people charge you for regular nails. So she get to talking about some, oh yeah, I'm not paying that because we were only 5 minutes late. It is 3:17. You are 7 minutes late. But okay. So she was like, I'm not paying that. That's only 5 minutes off. Yeah, yeah. And then she looks at her and she's like, so what do you want to do? Because I'm not paying it. I'm not paying for that. That's too much to be late, to be 7 minutes late. So I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, because I don't know what to say, because if you're not paying that, then I cannot do your daughter's nails. Because if I don't abide by my policy, who's going to abide by it? Like, who's going to listen to me if I just let everybody slide and walk all over me? Yeah, no. So she's like, for $30, I could take her to the nail salon, get her done, and tip her $35. I don't know what nail salon, but okay. And then she was like, yeah, I could do all that. They're like, she was just going on a rant of basically like how she's not paying me $10 extra, and how she's just like basically like just gonna take her money and go somewhere else. And I was just like, okay. And I stared at her and I was like, well, ma'am, if you feel like taking her to the nail salon, then you take her and you have a nice day. And then she was like, thanks. And I was like, no problem, goodbye. And she left, and I'm just like really sitting here trying to figure out, am I wrong for abiding by my policy? Like, you are late. I've been to appointments, hair, nails, lashes. I've been late to my appointments literally by 2 to 3 minutes and still had to pay fees. I feel like it's just a respect thing. It's my time, it's your time, it's everybody's time, and it was just a big inconvenience, and I just don't know how to feel about it.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the time I gave my phone to a girl to put in her Instagram and she found her man in my phone. Actually, before we get started, I'm gonna fix this. Much better. So basically, I'm going out in Atlanta. I'm going to the bars as a young woman does. This is a bar that I've been to like a handful of times. And you know, when you go to a bar a certain amount of times, you eventually become friends with like the bouncer, security. And that's exactly what I did. I became friends with the bouncer and we exchanged Instagrams and all that. And y'all, I was not attracted to this man in the slightest. Like, no shade, but he was cool people, but no. And you know, every time I would go to this bar, he would always check up on me and my friends. He'd always get us free drinks, free entry, all of that. So flash forward a couple months, it's actually Valentine's Day and me and my best friend are going out to the same bar. And so I look up bouncer friend's Instagram because I'm gonna call him and see if he's there and working so that, you know, we could get free entry. I don't remember why, but I never actually ended up calling him, but he was working that night because I saw him at the front. We get up there, he's like, hey, wasn't expecting to see y'all. We get our free entry, we go in, we're having fun. While we're inside and pushing through a crowd, I end up losing my best friend for about 30 seconds. And in this time span, this really pretty girl comes up to me and she's like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And I was like, girl, are you kidding me? Thank you, you're so pretty. And then I find my best friend and move on. And then later on, my best friend is talking to this guy at the bar. And so I turn around, give them their space, and I see another really pretty girl. And she's like, oh my God, you are so pretty. I love your fit. I was like, girl, are you kidding me? Like, you're such a baddie. Thank you. And she just so happened to be with pretty girl number one who complimented me earlier. And the three of us were all talking, chatting, having a great time. And I'm like, wait, I need y'all's Instagrams. And so I give them my phone to put in their Instagrams, and the first girl takes my phone, puts in her Instagram, I follow her. And the second girl takes my phone, puts in her Instagram, looks at like my recently searched accounts, and she points at one of them and she goes, how do you know him? I'm like, who? She was talking about bouncer friend. I'm still thinking shit sweet, so I'm like, oh girl, like that's my friend, how do you know him? She goes, that's my man. Oh! I'm like, oh yeah, girl, like that's just my friend. I met him here, like we're just cool, that's all. I was just trying to see if he was working tonight. Cause that's genuinely all it was. I will say, like, he tried hitting on me in October, but I shut that down and we were still cool. And so now her friend's like, wait, did he flirt with you? And I was like, maybe like once, but that was like a while ago. I'm not gonna lie, they're low-key like grilling me. They're like, when was the last time he flirted with you, blah blah blah. I was like, September, October, I don't know. Like, guys, I don't know, this isn't my man. I'm trying to keep it cordial. I'm trying to let them know that there's nothing going on between me and that man, but I'm also drunk, so I'm like, I'm kind of freaking out. My best friend's not with me anymore. I'm like, guys, I don't know what's going on. And they keep asking me questions, and then eventually I'm like, we're both just like, okay. We laugh it off, and then I go find my best friend because that was an uncomfy situation, can't lie. But obviously they did nothing wrong, because if I found my man in another girl's phone, I don't know what I would do. I would probably do the same. I would be very curious. But again, I was drunk, y'all. Like, I wasn't making the best decisions this night. But then later on, I ran into bouncer friend, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me you have a girl? Because like I said, he had flirted with me before, and I'm like, so why didn't you tell me you have a girl? And y'all, he goes, I don't have a girl. I said, oh, there's someone claiming that they're your girl. Like, just saying, I don't know, because now you have me looking crazy out here too. Not really, because again, I have no relations with that man, but you know, I look crazy in that moment because he was in my search history. But yeah, I tell him there's someone here claiming to be your girl, and he goes, you don't have to worry about her. I wasn't worried. I don't want you. Anyways, y'all, I was like, okay, and I walk away. And I never see the two girls for the rest of the night. But like a month later, she literally posts him and they're going on a road trip together. And I was like, oh my God, that's so foul. Like, and you know, since Valentine's Day, I have not been back to that bar, so.
Story time. I reported harassment to HR and somehow I got terminated. Let's talk about it. This company, I don't want to say the name, but their biggest competitor is The Ordinary and their skincare. Do with that what you will. They needed somebody to work in the Chicago market as a sales and education account executive. I was already planning on moving to Chicago, so things ended up just aligning. This would be my second job in this position. And so I moved to Chicago and I started with them. So when I was still in Wisconsin is where I'm from, that's where I got hired. They wanted me to do a little bit of onboarding there before coming to Chicago because it wasn't, like, the timing wasn't gonna work out if I waited until Chicago. So we did 2 days of onboarding. That's it. And then another manager was supposed to come in and train me the rest, and that didn't happen. So I got 2 days of training for a job that's 4 states and 55 doors, like Sephora's and Ulta's. It's a big job, and 2 days to like learn a job is insane. Like, insane. I do that. I moved to Chicago. At this point, I'm like, okay, they are like extremely unorganized. Who knows? You know, maybe it was just like a fluke. I should have seen the red flag there, but I just like brushed it off because I was excited to work for this company. They have a great message. They have great products. I like them. I stand by them. So this all shocked me. Anyways, I go to Vegas with them. We have a great time. I meet the founders. They're amazing. The rest of the team is great. I'm making friends with everybody. It was good, right? So when I come home, I start doing my job, and there was a time where I think I got a little emotional based on some feedback I was getting, and then I got yelled at for being emotional. So I'm already getting that kind of toxic energy because you can't, like, I didn't do anything wrong in that emotion. I didn't call anybody names. I was just like upset with myself, which isn't like a reason to talk to somebody about their emotions when it's not translating to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only doing it for me. So that was like the first time I was spoken to with this one manager. Then I was transferred to be with this other manager's team because the way the states are divided, I had to then go to this manager. First thing she tells me is, I'm not like normal managers. You can talk to me about anything, confide in me, vent to me. Like, this is a super safe place. What stays, you know, what's said between us stays between us. So I'm thinking, like, this is great. She's a manager that understands when things happen, like, you know, whatever. So I ended up opening up to her about my financial situation. I was offered a wage. I wanted more, so I took the less, and they said, you know, this is our starting out wage. We can always talk about, you know, things like that after, like if I wanted to get more money. So I start making my sales goal every month. I'm bonusing, which means I get a little bit extra money. And I made my year, which means I also bonused and, you know, got extra money for that. One of the only people to bonus every quarter, which I'm not saying as like a woohoo, I'm saying as so you can understand that I was good at my job. I then asked for a raise, and they basically laugh at me. Like, the VP was like, you haven't even worked here for a long time. Like, why do you want that? She was like, you're getting paid one of the most. That's a problem then. Pay your people more. Like, don't come at me because I'm making some of the most money. I don't think a lot of companies realize how high taxes are in Chicago. They took like $1,000 out of each check just for taxes, which is insane. My apartment cost $2,300 a month, so I was barely making ends meet. Like, it was bad. So when that happened, I was kind of like, okay, well, walls are kind of going up at this point. I had also posted a Instagram story saying that I was looking for part-time work, you know, 5 to 10 hours or 10 to 15, waitressing, bartending, things like that. Because truthfully, if I wanted to get a job in the cosmetic industry, one, I wouldn't post it on Instagram, and two, I could ask somebody. I wouldn't need to post it, because once you're in the industry, it's a lot easier to get a job, I think, because you have connections, right? So my VP, who was on my Instagram stories, she sent that to my manager and said, take care of this. So anyways, my manager calls me and she was like, you know, that's against our policy. Like, you can't work for another cosmetic company. And I'm like, that's not what I was trying to do. And she was like, well, perception is reality and reality is the truth. But it's not, because if somebody would have just come up to me and asked, like, what kind of job are you trying to get out of this? I would be like, waitressing or bartending, not another cosmetic company. With this company, though, you have to have a written request to get a second job, and they have to approve it, which I didn't know. So I was kind of getting scolded for that, and I was just like, this is insane. My sister works for HR, and she was like, I've never seen this before, like that kind of policy. It was basically like, we own you. You know, it's said in there that your schedule is supposed to be like flexible, so you may get called in random days, like to come in, which doesn't, again, it doesn't make sense. Like, when I was hired, my schedule was Tuesday through Saturday, but now they're saying I have to have availability on Sundays and Mondays. So it was just, none of it made sense. Anyways, then I decided to block my VP off my stories, because I was like, you're clearly just stalking, like, in a not a nice way, right? After I did that, things went like downhill. I wasn't getting shout outs on the calls, meaning like, you're doing a good job. I wasn't getting answers, like responded to me. If I reached out to somebody, I wasn't getting answers. Like, it was just, I could tell that it was because of that. Like, she was pissed. My review comes up in January. I get a meets expectations. I'm told I'm a very good salesperson, better than the other person that was before me, which is toxic. Like, a manager shouldn't be saying that anyways, but whatever. And then my supervisor says, like, I can really see you in education, social media, because you are so passionate about it, which I was, which I am still. I bring up a position to her saying we should have an education, social media based position in the US. They only have one educator for the whole company, and it's in Canada. So to get an answer from them, you didn't get one sometimes at all, or like, it would be weeks when you would have already needed the answer, right? And you weren't allowed to reach out to education directly. You had to reach out to your manager had to reach out to education. None of it made sense. So I was like, to have an education person in the States where we can reach out to them would be super beneficial for all the account executives. And my manager goes, so are you proposing this for you? And I said, yeah, like, I know you had said that I'd be good at that. I was thinking I could do 2 days education, 3 days account executive, and split it kind of like that, just to like, so that it didn't take away from my job. It just added to it. She goes, okay, great idea. I'm gonna reach out to the VP about it. I never hear back. Then we get put on a call where she says that she's been laid off, my manager. She's been laid off, but the company didn't want to lose her. So they offered her a position that was education, social media based. It almost seemed like she pitched my idea to save her ass, but allegedly. So I reached out to her and I was like, are they going to create another position like that? And she was like, I don't know. I will let you know as soon as like something comes up, or if they start talking about it, with a smiley face. So like, it was okay to ask her that. Then I got put on an extra assignment with education, and during that conversation, they said, I don't know if a position is going to come out of this, but in case it does, like, this is a great time for you to like try an assignment and we can see how you do. So then I circled back at the end of the meeting and I was like, so are they going to create a job? And he was just like, Probably not, but this will look better on your resume. So I actually had a one-on-one scheduled with my supervisor. We had already moved it once, and then we had a big assignment due that I was like, can we just move it so I can focus on this? And she was like, nope, moving it's not allowed, which we already moved it, so like it didn't make sense. And she was like, I need you to be at that one-on-one. Like, I have to talk to you. And I was like, okay. Very bitchy, mind you. It was really like aggressive the way she said it in the message. Stay for part 2 where I'll tell you what happens after I get written up. Welcome to part 2 of me explaining how submitting an HR complaint about harassment ended up getting me fired. If you haven't watched part 1, it's the video before this. I would watch it just so you understand what's going on. But yeah, let's get into it. So I actually had a one-on-one scheduled with my supervisor. We had already moved it once, and then we had a big assignment due that I was like, can we just move it so I can focus on this? And she was like, nope, moving it's not allowed, which we already moved it, so like it didn't make sense. And she was like, I need you to be at that one-on-one. Like, I have to talk to you. And I was like, okay. It was really like aggressive the way she said it in the message. So I get on this meeting, and it's her, and again, they were changing supervisors with me, so it would have been my new supervisor. They have a PowerPoint of me being written up. I'm not making my numbers. I haven't been making my numbers. I'm not meeting my metrics. I'm gossiping. I sent in this worksheet and it wasn't done properly, so they sent it to the VP. Mind you, I had never done this sheet, never seen how to do it. So if you're a good leader, you're gonna go back and be like, hey, let me coach you through this and we can do a learning opportunity. Not, I'm gonna go to the VP and tell them that you didn't know how to do this. So I get written up for that, for not doing it correctly. Never done it before, but whatever. It's 30 minutes of my supervisor yelling at me, like super unprofessional. And it was all recorded, which was great. She tells me that she's not gonna pay my PTO that I requested. I had sent her a text and an email, but she was like, I didn't like the way you asked for it off. So she told me she wasn't gonna pay me my PTO and that it was, I almost said the name. It was this company's policy that you didn't get paid your PTO if you didn't put it in right. So me and my sister, who's in HR, we look through the handbook. She goes, there's nothing about not paying you because of the way you put it in. It's actually federal law that you have to be paid PTO if it's requested. So she goes, you can take it up with HR. Sorry guys, I am editing and I realized that I missed a part. So when I was being written up, my supervisor brought up the fact that I asked for a different job and that I asked education for a different job. But that's not how the conversation went. The education person knows that's not how it went. And I offered a different job because I thought it would truly benefit the company. But she goes, you are not going to be given a different job when you can't even do the job that you're assigned right now. So I write a very professional email to HR with documented proof, with my metrics, the proof of me requesting PTO off with screenshots of the email and the text I sent to her. I sent it all to HR and I was like, I would recommend you watching the 30-minute video because it's so unprofessional. Like I genuinely think like she needs to be coached through this. With all that documented proof. Okay, so I don't hear back, but I get a meeting sent to me for the next day with HR and my supervisor. So I reach back out to HR and I go, I would really like us to just discuss this between us before we bring it up to my manager. No response. So I get on the call. It's my manager and me right away. And she goes, we're gonna wait for HR to hop on. I'm thinking at this point, I will get an apology because I had proof that everything that was written up for wasn't like real, like pulling straws. So I was like, they're for sure going to apologize to me. I get on, the HR person gets on, and my manager, the first thing she says is, effective immediately, we are terminating your employment with the company. And then HR hops in and goes, we have a policy that says we can fire you at any time for any reason, so that's what we've decided to do. I am too stunned to speak that I just say, okay. Like, okay. Because in my head, I'm like, this is retaliation. Like, I just sent you so much proof. And instead of talking about it, you're just gonna fire me? That's wild behavior. You're probably thinking, girl, sue. I did try to go to lawyers and I talked to a couple different ones. They said because it wasn't like retaliation due to discrimination, like if she would have been a man and I would have been a female, I could have then sued, but because she's a female, firing a female, it's technically legal. All the lawyers said, you know, it sucks because your supervisor fired you because she didn't like you and because you stood up for yourself, which isn't illegal, but it's like morally wrong. Like they were just like, the company this shouldn't have been a thing. Like they shouldn't have terminated you. And what sucks is like my supervisor knew that I was struggling financially. And so when I got unemployment was backed up because I have a Wisconsin driver's license and I'm living in Illinois. So they were bouncing between the states. Long story short, for the month and a half I was employed, I never got unemployment. The day I was let go too, everybody on my team reached out to me. Why are you getting fired? This doesn't make sense. Like, what happened? Are they crazy? Because I was constantly making my numbers and I was a good team player. Like, you can't tell me if management is firing somebody based on gossiping and things like that. She's not gonna have everybody on the team reach out to her and say, oh my God, what happened? So my freelancers, when I told them that I was terminated, they all were like, no way, like you've been the best boss ever. Let me know if you want to see receipts. I have receipts. And they were all like, we're writing things to HR to say like this is BS basically. Again, if I'm bad at my job, my freelance team that I've hired and employed and been coaching, they are not going to email the person and be like, we're talking to HR about this. Mind you, they never received feedback from HR. They never received any information from HR. So they basically just like ghosted my team. It's just wild. Like my freelance support was constantly improving. Like you could see it. And again, to be terminated for something that doesn't make sense, it sucks. This not only affected me, this affected my freelance team too. Like they were all out of a job then as well. Like nobody talked to them. So it just like, it was mind blowing how they handled this thing. I don't know, when I started with this company, I loved the message that they had. I loved the products that they had. It was really easy for me to be passionately educating people because I believed in the brand. And I'm the type of person where I will never work for a brand that I don't believe in or stand by or like their products because I can't lie when I'm selling. Like you can read it on my face. So it sucked when all this stuff happened because I realized how they treat people and they don't protect the employees. They're protecting, well, I guess they're protecting some employees. Anyways, after this, I look at Glassdoor, which put reviews down for companies, and I finally look them up, and there's just terrible reviews. Like everybody's saying that they've been treated like crap. It's been a toxic workplace, toxic management. They favor people, and I'm like, I wish I would have seen this before because everything people were complaining about happened to me. I have never, ever in my life been terminated for a job. Well, okay, one in college, it was like a waitressing job because I got a bad mystery shop. If you have those, be careful. Texas Roadhouse, man, they let me go. But I had never been fired from like a job since growing up, basically. I'm 31. I think I was terminated from Texas Roadhouse when I was like 19. So I am a good employee. I know I'm a good employee. I work really hard. I love my job. So for all this to happen, it was just wild. You know, my sister from HR, she was like, this is crazy. I cannot believe that they would terminate you after submitting an HR complaint, let alone the day after. So you could tell it was from the HR because they wrote me up. I then wrote HR and the next day they terminated me. If they wanted to originally terminate me, they wouldn't have written me up. I was also told that I was written up like 4 times. I asked for documented proof from HR and they said that there was none. Like it's in the company system and we don't have it available, so we can't send it to you. It's just like lies. None of it made sense. Anyways, things worked out. I am now employed with a company where I'm being paid more. It's unfortunate because I do believe they are a good company, but they are not a good company to work for, which sucks. That does suck because now I can't support them. But luckily things worked out. So I didn't get evicted. I'm still living in my apartment and I have a much better job now. Luckily, it was a blessing. I will not support them anymore because I cannot align myself for the way that they treat their employees. Anyways, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I feel a lot better. Let me know if you have questions or if you want to see the receipts. I'm happy to provide them with faces and names scratched out because I don't want to be sued. Like, that's not my intention. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next. If you enjoyed the story, I've got plenty of other stories. So just let me know if you like this kind of content. Okay, bye. Queen, you are a queen.
I'm ready to tell my story about dating in Atlanta. I knew I should have listened to my intuition because you already know where it's going. I met this guy. He was very attractive. He was tall. He was a nice brown skin. He had nice sandy brown hair, light brown eyes. And he was very sweet. We saw each other all the time because we went to the same coffee shop to work. And this time I went to the coffee shop, he said hi to me, whatever. And, he had never really said hi to me before. But, I was looking kind of cute that day. And so as the days went on, I came back and he slipped me a note. And he was like, hey, I hope you're having a great day. And he gave me his number. And I thought that was so sweet. I thought it was so sweet. And I was like, oh. But this guy, he's like, the way he looked, he was kind of like, he kind of had like an emo look. He had like those gauges in his ears and, which wasn't really something that I liked. He rode a motorcycle. He was cool though, So I got his number and I started texting him. And right off the bat, his energy was weird. Like I'm texting him, hey, how are you? Introducing myself, talking to him or whatever. And at first I was like, why wouldn't he just say hi? But he just slipped a note. Okay. Why wouldn't he speak to me in person? He just slipped a note. I thought it was cute. And so I'm texting him. His energy's a little weird. He's a little standoffish. Okay, so I like to play a game before I really get to know somebody. And so we played this question game, and he was asking me if I was married, if I had kids, kind of normal standard type of questions. But it came off a little too direct to me, like he wasn't like really flirtatious. But I think it's because he had noticed the ring on my finger. The ring is a ring that I bought myself. And so me and this guy, we started dating, we had phone call conversations or whatever. And, the vibe was there. We had a good time. We eventually went on a date. The date was good. He told me what he was looking for in a woman. And he told me that he's ready to get married and settle down. And, he wanted to have more children because he already had 2, right? And I'm like, okay, I have 2 children too, so that works out. He had a daughter around my kid's age, and that's perfect because I do want a daughter, and his daughter being around my kid's age was cool because, that means I ain't got to have another kid. And so, time goes on again, and he slips out the fact that, we was talking about, I forgot, he was joking about something, about choking on, I don't know, something he was choking on. I don't know. And I was like, damn, relax. Like he was choking on some water or something. And he started joking about dying or whatever. And he said, yeah, at least I got enough to give all my kids something. I said, oh. He said, yeah, my daughter, my son, and the twins. I said, twins? What twins are you talking about? And he said, I told you I had twins. Well, I don't really know if they mine yet. I'm gonna show you a picture of them. People saying they don't look like me, so I don't really know. He showed me these freaking twins, and they was like 9 months old. And I'm like, instantly, my face drops. Like, cause I know you didn't tell me about no twins. Why would I forget you tell me about some twins? He's gaslighting me at this point, telling me, oh yeah, I told you. Nah, you ain't tell me about no twins, right? And so days goes on. And I told him I'm not really feeling that. I'm not really feeling the fact because I feel like you was lying. And I ain't really trying to get into no bullshit. You got like 3 different baby mamas now at this point because the 2 is pushing it. Now you got twins. The twins are young. So I ain't really trying to mess with him like that or whatever. So I end up cutting him off. We stopped talking. And so about a month later, he comes back around and he came back correct. First off, before I even cut him off, he was kind of acting weird anyway. Like, he would stop texting me randomly, kind of like disappear, stuff like that. So I was kind of like, you know what? I ain't feeling that anyway. I ain't got time for this or whatever. So after I cut him off, he came back around, and he came back around correct. I know that you're the woman for me. I really want to be with you. I really want to work on our communication. We're saying all the right things, all the right things. You know, he's coming correct. He's apologetic. He's affirming how he feels about me. He's planning things out. He's telling me how he wants to move going forward. And, you know, so I'm like, okay, cool. So I asked God, I said, okay, I'm going to give this a chance. So I pray about it. I asked God, all right, Lord, I'm asking you to reveal anything about this man that I need to know. Like, what's up with him? And I called in all my angel guys and I said, let me know. I want you to reveal anything that's going on with this man. And when I tell you, shit was revealed. Hold on. This is 5 minutes, but hold on. Boy, was it freaking revealed. I said, Holy Spirit, guide me and tell me about this man. What's up with this man? And we had just, like I said, things were going well. We were really communicating. We were really, you know, he was really being very open with what he's doing with his day. Because a big issue was he kept disappearing. Oh, I was asleep all day. Sorry. I was asleep all day. And I was kind of like, okay. Oh, yeah, I just woke up. Sorry. And so, this time he was going, I think it was out of town somewhere. Yeah, he went out of town to go pick up a Jeep. He had just bought a Jeep. And so I was, you know, tracking, he sent me his location, and I was tracking his location, whatever, to see, you know, what was going on. And then for some reason he cut the location. And I was like, okay, that's weird, whatever. And so I was calling him. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning because he was supposed to come to my house by 12 after he came back to town. And so I was calling him, and I was calling him, and he wasn't answering the phone. And of course, I'm the type of person, I think you in a ditch somewhere. So I'm like up all night, like, oh my God, something happened to him. He just got this really good job, and now he got this car, and he died. You know, that's what I'm thinking in my mind. Or whatever. So a couple hours went by again, and then he ended up calling me. Oh, sorry, I was so tired. I fell asleep I pulled over and went to sleep. I'm like, okay, whatever. But he told me that he was coming over still. I was like, okay, you know, whatever. So he gets to my house, and he was like, this is the first time we've seen each other since we started talking again. And he gets to my house, and he was kind of like standoffish, like, hey, how are you? You know, after all the stuff that he was saying about how he wanted to be together and all this stuff, it was weird that he was acting standoffish. Like, okay, like he barely gave me a hug. He was kind of on his phone doing his own thing. We laid down, we got in the bed, and he kind of turned over and just kind of was like to himself. And I was like, okay, nigga, we hadn't seen each other in forever. Okay, so fast forward to me praying about the situation. So I prayed about the situation, and because this time he went on another trip to go see his son for the Super Bowl. And I called him again, and he wasn't answering the phone. I texted him, he wasn't texting. I'm like, okay, he's with his son, whatever. But something told me to look him up, because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, this is weird. He probably got a girlfriend. He's probably married or something like that. So I never had his social medias or whatever, because he was a little bit older than me. At the time I was like 29, and he was 37, I think 38. So he wasn't really on social media like that. And I'm like, okay, TikTok, how do I find somebody's social media without their information? And so I was looking, and they said, oh, you can search up this picture. You can search up his picture on this website called Pim Eyes, Pim Eyes, like EYES. So, you know, I took that information and I looked them up. And when I tell you, okay, so I took that information, I uploaded his picture because he loves sending me pictures of himself. Okay, I took that information, I looked him up, I put him on this website. But first, before I did that, I got on Facebook. I searched his phone number, looked up his phone number, found his family, and I found his family's Facebook. I looked through their stuff, found out who he was and where he came from for real, found his mama, found his daddy, found everybody to see who this man really was, because something was off, something wasn't sitting right. So now, okay, I put in his picture on this website, Pimp Eyes, and my fucking God, holy fucking shit, what came up put my body in complete shock. Like, I was shaking, like my body was trembling, I felt cold. It literally sent me to the emergency room. What I found, and I'm wondering if I should put the screenshots up of what I found, but what I found was blacktranniesdating.com, singletranniesdating.com, with his picture on there. His picture came up and it pinged to a website for dating black trans people. And at first I thought maybe somebody was catfishing. Maybe somebody used his pictures, right? So I decided I'm going to go ahead and pay for a subscription to get into this website to see if I can find his profile. So I clicked on a profile in the Pimp Eyes website, and it said, oh, you got to pay to even get the actual location of the thing. So I paid the $15 to get the location of the website or whatever. I paid that, and then I paid to get a subscription to this website, singleblacktrannies.com. Tranny Lovers is what it was called. Blacktrannylovers.com. Blacktrannylovers.com is what it was called. I get on there, and he on there. This is how the picture looked. And it said, hey, his name was like Miami 3042 ATL or something like that. Hey, I just moved here from Miami and I'm looking for some new friends. I've been dating trans women, and I mean real trans women, not just some dude with makeup on. I'm gonna post the clip that I saw. But that's what I found. And when I tell you, it was two tranny websites. When I tell you my body went into complete shock, I've never dealt with anything like this before. It was so traumatizing. And the main thing about it is I knew something was off with him. I did not listen to my intuition. I overrode my intuition, and my intuition was warning me. But God still protected me in this situation. God still protected me in my situation. How do I know? Because I immediately went to the hospital and got a full panel. And then I end up trying to go to the police station. I went to the police station like, bro, yeah, I want to press charges on this nigga. Apparently you can't press charges on a dude who is gay on the low. To me, it feels like a sex crime. Because I didn't consent to having sex with a gay man. I consented to having sex with a straight man. So I felt like, and don't tell, okay, you don't, I can hear it. I can hear it now. Don't tell me. I understand the whole controversy between trans women and regular women or whatever, but I didn't consent to that. And I felt like I was taken advantage of. So I'm going to post it. I'm going to post what I found.
When I was a kid, after my parents had separated, they came to an agreement that my dad would get visitation for me every Sunday from 8 a.m. to about 6 or 7 p.m. that evening. He was very wish-washy with it. He would come when he wanted to, sometimes wouldn't call when he's coming or if he's not coming. And, you know, it just wasn't really a set thing. He would kind of just pop up when he felt like it. There were even times where it would be Father's Day. I would be so excited with his gift, he would call me about the time that he's supposed to be outside. Oh, I'm so sorry and I can't come. For context, I lived with my mom and my stepdad, and then I also lived with my grandparents. So I spent a lot of my life going back and forth between the two houses. So at first we lived in apartments, and then my mom and my stepdad found a house and we moved. And then shortly after, within like 6 months, my grandparents found a house and we moved again. So I was living in two completely different areas. And at this point, I hadn't seen my father in dumb long. I was, stop scooting your butt. That's nasty. Sorry, guys. My dog loves scooting her nasty butt on the floor.
Fast forward about 2 years. I'm about 8 years old at this point. It's summertime. I wake up one morning sad, and my mom is like, what's wrong? Like, what's the issue? And I told her, I was like, I had a dream and I don't want to see my daddy, right? So crazy. Hours later, my friend comes over, we're playing, she's watching the both of us. The doorbell rings. So my mom goes downstairs and it's someone at the door. She comes back upstairs with a big folder in her hand. I don't know what's going on. I didn't question her. She goes into her room. Day passes. A couple days later, she sits me down and she basically tells me that the person who had come to the door the other day was someone who was giving her papers because my father wanted to see me. Growing up, even though I was a kid, my mom made sure to always explain things to me. She never hid anything from me. So she let me know that my dad was taking her to court to have custody over me, which is so crazy because remember that morning I woke up saying I don't want to see my dad because I had a dream that I saw him. So, you know, that's still wild to me because, you know, kids just be knowing shit. So now it's this long drawn out court thing. Summertime passes. This court battle goes on for about 6 months because I remember I had re-entered school. I was missing days of school. My mom would still put me in my school uniform and I had to miss days of school to go to these court days because I had to go speak to this man. I didn't know at the time it was most likely a social worker who was advocating on my behalf in the courtroom. I was missing school for these court dates and my dad was fighting my mom for full custody of me. He basically tried to say that my mom was hiding me away from him, that she took me away, moved away without a trace and vanished. Mind you, he had stopped calling, he had stopped coming around, he stopped picking me up for his visitation weekends. So if you're not going to be in communication and contact, they left. They have their lives to live, you know? But of course he tried to spin that for the court to work in his favor. Now, as y'all know, this is an issue because he was never consistently there. He like left my mom to fend for herself basically when it came to me. She paid for 100% of the things that I needed, my food, my shelter, my everything, up until my stepdad came around and, you know, stepped up. She, of course, spent so much money on a lawyer. Before, in the past, when my mom and my dad had still been together, my mom had said, if anything ever goes wrong, like, can we please keep it peaceful? Like, let's not go to court, blah, blah, blah. He said he would never do it, and of course, he did end up doing it. So the lawyer was like, I know you don't really want to, but, like, you have to put him on child support at this point. So my mom ends up putting him on child support. I know that extended, like, the court process or whatever. And my father was paying a really, really high amount because he was lying on paper about how much he makes. On paper, he wasn't making that much, but if you know, you know, he was doing stuff outside of the fact where, you know, he had a bit more in the bank than what it added up to what he was doing with his everyday. Now, around December time, that's when the court order went into effect. It started on Christmas, so he would be having me for the first time that Christmas with my other siblings. He had my older sister and my younger brother with him. My younger sister was always in and out of the picture, and then the baby brother, wasn't born yet. I remember seeing him for the first time after many years during one of the court appointments when I was pulled out of school, and he was calling to me. He was like, Anaya, Anaya. And then my sister was like, hi, Anaya. And I kind of was just ignoring all of them because, I don't know, I just had like such anxiety over it. Even though I was such a young girl, I just knew something wasn't really right. So for anyone who doesn't know, if you do anything involving family court or a child, you are legally obligated to do so or there will be legal consequences. For example, my father wasn't properly paying his child support, so they would always garnish his wages, or they would repossess vehicles, all these things. Same thing went for my mom. She didn't have any legal consequences because she kept up her end of the bargain, which was she had to send me to him for visitation every other weekend. I say all of this to say that when I tell stories about my father and people question why my mom kept sending me over there, it's not because she wanted to. Trust and believe she fought very hard for me in the court system over many years. She had a legal obligation to do so. If she didn't abide by the rules, then she would get in trouble and I wouldn't have a stable parent because I only had one stable parent. And then, you know, my dad was just always in and out. So I ask kindly that y'all stop questioning my mommy's actions because she really did try her best. I also get comments of people trying to place blame on either myself, my siblings, our moms, because yes, all of my siblings and I did have different moms. That is a common misconception in my comments. My mom was only responsible for me. All of my other siblings, I have 4 other siblings, each has their own mother. Please stop saying, oh, sounds like y'all were bad kids. Sounds like your mom didn't care enough to like protect you from what was going on. That is not the case. Please stop jumping to assumptions over a 5-minute story time. These are little fragments of memories from my life that happened, and first of all, you can't change this past. Second of all, if you can listen to those stories and blame a child or hear how someone has taken measures to protect the child and still there's only so much they can do, and you still choose to place blame on other people, something might be wrong with you. Yes, I am telling these stories for entertainment, but this was still my real life, so any unsolicited opinions regarding those as such is very crazy to me, because at the end of the day, I was a child, my siblings and I were children, so any of the actions that we made, whether we were in the wrong or right or whatever the case may be, we were too young to even have a say of any of this, okay? At the end of the day, my father was the responsible one at hand. And when y'all are placing blame on the girlfriends and blah, 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 yes, in certain cases, they could have been wrong for putting up with certain things or sticking up around him for certain things. At the end of the day, he is still the main factor. So when people also try to accuse me of being like, oh, don't misplace your anger with the girlfriends, I'm not. I'm just saying how the story went. I'm being aware to the fact that yes, y'all shouldn't have defended him with this. Y'all shouldn't have like stood by him with certain things, but at the end of the day, I'm not their children, you know? Sorry about the noise outside. Someone is mowing the lawn, but I just want to say that any story that I tell involving anyone, whether it's a dad story time, ex, whatever the case, it is simply entertainment purposes. It is not for you to get angry, get your panties all up in a twist. Relax. It's the past. All these stories that I'm telling you have happened 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 plus years ago. Okay? I know I may not look my age, but I'm 23 years old. I've been through a lot, and I'm just sharing my life with you. Everyone needs to take a breath. I hope I explained this clearly enough. Bye, sister.
Have you ever had a date so bad that you had to pause Hinge? I think that we are a little overdue for another dating in New York City update. If you're new here, hi. My name is Anne Sophie. I got out of a long-term relationship a little over a year ago because I found out he cheated on me. That story time is somewhere on my profile. I moved to New York City, and so I've only recently started dipping back into dating. Bottom line, it is a hot fucking mess. I actually have so much to say about one of them that I don't even know if I'll get to any other stories. First thing, immediately when I get there, I already know that he's lied about his height. I'm 5'6", and I always wear tall shoes on a first date for exactly this reason. But that he was 5'11", he was definitely 5'9" on a good day. Already annoyed at that. And also, there just seems to be this like epidemic in New York where men always look worse than their photos here. In LA, they always look better. So I'm not sure who these New York men are hiring to take their photos, but I am a victim. So upon seeing him, I'm already realizing like he's not really as attractive as I thought that he was going to be. For the entire fucking time, he is trying way too hard to like be this contrarian, like I'm so different, devil's advocate bullshit. Got to a point where I felt like he was disagreeing with me on everything just for the fun of it. He was doing it in like this really passive aggressive way that kind of like made me feel badly. On top of that, as if that wasn't bad enough, he definitely had some sort of like superiority complex where he just thinks that everything he says is correct. This man was from like fucking San Jose and was like trying to tell me that LA is not a real city because nothing there is open past 10 p.m. And I was like, literally all of Koreatown. He had that like snooty, like New York or nowhere attitude, even though he's not from here. He thought that he was so different, so unique. You're a 5'9" white guy. You are as average and as normal as it gets. Tried to tell me that Monet, the painter, is like extremely basic, and I'm like, who the fuck has beef with Monet? What is your problem? And he wasn't like in art, so I'm not sure why he has like such a strong opinion about this. The real kicker though, a little bit before the date ended, this man looks at me so intently. He goes, has anyone ever told you that you're very particular? Yes. This is not news to me. I mean, did he honestly think after 2 hours of meeting me, he was going to tell me something about myself that I didn't already know? And just the way that he said it, I'm just like, okay, it's obvious that you just want one of those like really nice girls that like doesn't have a strong opinion about anything and just goes with what you say. That's perfectly fine. I'm not that girl, but why are you making me feel bad about it? It's very much giving, you have high standards that I can't meet, and so I'm gonna make you feel bad about it. And it actually makes me sick, because I know that he thinks that I was the problem. Literally the second that we parted ways, I let out the biggest, deepest sigh. He honestly probably heard me, went home, unmatched, and paused Hinge immediately. Like, I honestly left that date feeling angry, not only because it was a huge waste of my time, but because the whole time I felt like all I had to do was like defend myself. I have 2 dates lined up. I don't like canceling plans, otherwise I would. After those, I'm locking in the gym, because I literally, what the fuck is wrong with these men? Like, I can't. I just can't. I can't. Thank you for getting ready with me while I gave you this little update of me basically giving up. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, so I said that I was going to talk a little bit more about what happened after my divorce. So it was finalized in January of 2016. And in the divorce, he was required to pay child support. He was required to pay 50% of the kids' expenses, like sports or school-related things, like yearbooks and things like that, and medical, anything like in our co-pays or, you know, beyond our co-pays. So that was fine. I did not ask for alimony, so I didn't get that. We had already lost our house, so we didn't have to split that. I took on my car. I had already sent, he had a car leased in my name, and he had already bought a new car. I had that car. That was all taken care of. And I told them that I would take on all the debt, like all the debt that was in my name, which it was a majority of it because he, had screwed up his credit so badly. So I was like, you know what? Let's just give it to me. I'll figure it out. The only thing is that in the state of New Jersey, when it comes to retirement accounts, you're supposed to split that. And so he had a pension with his job. And so that would have been, kind of what I would have received when he retired. So at the time, I don't think he read the paperwork and whatnot. So, which was fine. My kids were still on his insurance, and I had my own insurance now through my job. So something some people don't know is that not every teacher is able to put their family on their benefits right away. So for my district where I worked, unfortunately, they made you wait 5 years before you could put your family on your health plan, which is terrible because it's very expensive and it's hard. So that was the kids would stay on his health insurance. I had my own. Everything was good. And things were okay. Like, he would sporadically come to see the kids. That was it. Oh, and the other thing is that I knew that if I did not have his wages garnished from his paycheck, that I would not see child support. So my lawyer did put that in, and the judge agreed. They garnished his wages. So I was able to get child support, which was the first time I really had gotten money from him in a year, which was fantastic. So that was it. The kids were on his insurance. I had my own insurance. He had a job, and I was going to get a little piece of his pension because he had not worked there that long, and that was it. So with that, once you are divorced, you have to send in, you have to use this company to, I don't know if it's certify the pension. Whatever you have to do, you have to pay this company money to get this paperwork to get the pension when he retires in 30 years. So it takes a long time to get it, and plus you have to pay. And I knew he would not pay. He was like, I wasn't going to even ask him for it. So it's $500. So I had to take a little bit of time because I had all this debt I was paying. I wasn't making a ton of money. I was, doing all the sets. So I had to save up money to pay this $500. So by the time I did it, so we were divorced in January. By the time I finally had the money, it was like September. So in September, I sent in the paperwork with the $500, and they do everything they have to do, and then they have to send paperwork back to each of us to sign. So I get it back, I sign it, everything's good, and I don't hear from him. I keep reaching out to the company, like a month has gone by, nothing. They're not getting back to me. And then in November, it was, he must have actually read the paperwork, and he chose to quit his job. He did not feel like that he would want me to get any of his pension. So he quit his job, which meant that there was no more pension. He took whatever was out of it because he had not been vested yet. He had not been there 10 years. So he took all of the money from his pension. He lost his health insurance, which meant the boys lost their health insurance, and I lost child support. So even after all of this, he still managed to find a way to kind of screw me over, which was fine. I did not care. It was upsetting. One thing I'm super thankful for is that the state of New Jersey does have, New Jersey Family Care, where you can get insurance for your children. Well, for anybody, but I was able to get it for my children because I couldn't get it at work. And if I tried to get it at work, they'd make you pay the COBRA pay. And it was over $1,000 a month for the two of them. And I could not afford that. So in the first year, I managed to lose any of his retirement, which was fine. It really wasn't that big of a deal. But the biggest thing is that the boys lost their health insurance, and then I lost child support because they could not garnish his wages. So that's where we were the first year after. At the time, he had been seeing the kids sporadically, but once he quit his job, we went back to barely seeing him. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'll tell you what happened then after all of that.
You need to stop going to Las Vegas to gamble and instead take all the money you would have gambled with, give it to your girlfriend, and let her go buy everything she's ever wanted and more.
Hi guys, I'm here to inform you about an issue that I'm dealing with Walmart Canada and how unacceptable and unbelievable this is. Every week for the past 4 months or so, I order Walmart delivery for my groceries. It's so much easier than going to the store with 3 kids. And I don't have to worry about that, over shopping and anything like that, right? And my last grocery order, I was missing about 17 items that totaled around $100. And so I contacted Walmart for a refund, and they told me that because of the amount of items that were missing, that the case would have to be escalated to the risk prevention team, and that I would be receiving a call back from them within 48 hours with their decision. And not even 24 hours later, I received an email saying that my account has been banned and I was no longer welcome to shop online, and any orders that were placed online would be canceled. And for what? What did I do wrong? Missing my items, don't know where they're missing from, the delivery, obviously, because I contacted my local Walmart and the guy said that he gave the driver all of the items. So I contact Walmart again, and they said that the risk prevention team would be reaching out to me by phone and letting me know the status of my case. And that would have been Friday, would have been 48 hours, and I never heard from them. So I called them this morning, and they told me that my case was solved and that I would not be receiving my refund because I am violating their terms of service by requesting a refund for too many missing items. Meanwhile, I did nothing wrong. I am missing these items somewhere between Walmart and my home, so I don't see how that's my fault, and yet I am not entitled to my refund, and my online account that I've had for the past 10 years is now locked and I will not be allowed in. So any orders that I've placed online in the past month, I will not be able to return or do anything with if there becomes an issue. And I'm out the money and the missing items. And in this economy that we're in right now, I cannot afford to be out that money or the food. Like, I need those items. And it's just unbelievable that they can do this to people. Like, I can't be the only one who is missing items and Walmart does this and they just let it go like nothing's happened. Like, I can't believe that they just keep getting to do this, and I just have to accept that as my answer. So I've filed a chargeback with my bank, and hopefully I'll get the money back through there. But I can't believe that that's their policy. Because I'm missing too many items, I am now at fault. I am locked out of my account. I'll have to make a new Walmart account, which isn't an issue, making a new account. But it just has all of my previous orders on it and all the receipts for everything that I've ordered online, and even all of the proof for like this past order, so I can show them the picture of what was delivered. And for example, the case of pop was definitely not put out with my groceries. So like, there's proof right then and there that that was one missing item. And there was only like 3 or 4 bags, and I normally have about 8. So like, I can't even get those pictures now because I can't get into my account. And it's just unbelievable. I really hope that this makes it far and can go viral, and Walmart will finally realize that what they're doing is wrong. But I highly doubt that, because they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation and I'm just a small person who won't make a difference in the world. But I'm hoping it does, because I can't imagine being in a worse situation than I am and being out $100 worth of groceries and now having to find a way to make up that difference. So if you could share this, tag Walmart, tag whatever you need to do to get this to go viral so that we can try and make a difference. Thank you.
No. Younger sisters had the worst trauma. Did anyone else have a older sister who would bring over boys and your mom would be like, oh, stay downstairs with them so they don't do anything, and then they would just make out in front of you? Jasmine, yeah, I'm talking to you.
Hi everybody, my name's Amy, and if you live in Lexington, South Carolina, and do not, and I repeat, do not go to the Wendy's on Sunset Boulevard, like near Lexington Elementary School, like over there near Walmart, do not go there. Terrible idea. The staff, so disrespectful. So it all started with me, my boyfriend's mom, and my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend were all going to all go get dinner from Wendy's. We get there as my boyfriend's mom is ordering the food. Mind you, she's feeding 7 people. The 2 adults and the 5 kids, including me and the girlfriend, feeding 7 people. Whoever was on their headset goes, damn, while she's talking. I look at the girlfriend and I said, did she really just say damn? She goes, yeah. Me being me, I speak extra loud. I said, that was really disrespectful, because it was. Why are you working in fast food and don't know common respect? I'm confused. It's not that hard. Well, anyways, so we ended up pulling up, paying, getting our food, coming back. We come back to my boyfriend's house, and I got a $6 biggie bag. And what comes in a $6 biggie bag is small drink, small fry, junior cheeseburger, and a 4-piece nugget. And whatever sauce you get for your nuggets. Well, I'm looking for my nuggets. They're not in the bag. Can someone please explain to me how you're already disrespectful and then you leave out food on a simple, I'm not even gonna say simple order because it was not simple, but like, you're already being rude to customers and then you don't put their food in the bag. Like, that makes no sense. You have one job. Take the order, put the order in the bag. Put the freaking fries in the bag. How do you not put the nuggets in the bag? So my boyfriend's mom calls up there because that's part of my meal. As normal, if you got food missing out of your food, out of your order, you're gonna call wherever you went and say, hey, I didn't get this. Most restaurants, like normal people who are respectful people work at, they apologize. Say, I'm sorry, we'll replace that for you. We can give you anything extra. Like, I'm sorry, that is a mistake on our behalf. No, that's not how the lady is at all. Don't know if it was the manager or the coworker on the phone, but the person who said damn on the phone, we pretty sure was the manager, and it was these 2 black ladies working, and the lady we're pretty sure it was the manager that said, damn, because she's the one who wouldn't make eye contact with us. And the girl who served us our food was laughing. Like, what is funny? You being disrespectful is funny? It's not funny. So my boyfriend's mom calls Wendy's and is like, hey, I didn't get the nuggets. The lady on the phone, so disrespectful, again, is like, well, I put them in the bag. Clearly you didn't put them in the bag because they're not in the bag. The chicken nuggets didn't grow legs and walk away. Nobody's going to make a commotion that much out of 4-piece chicken nuggets, but when you're sitting here being disrespectful, it takes it to a whole new level. Nobody's going to play disrespect. Simple as that. So the lady's like, I put them in the bag. My boyfriend's mom's like, well, I'm sorry, but they're not in the bag. She's like, so you really going to come up here for 4 nuggets? Yes, I'm going to come up there for 4 nuggets. Is that a real question? Are you for real? If I order food and my food is wrong or it's incorrect or I'm missing something, I'm going to come and get my food. That is simple. Like, that is common sense. If you were to order food from a different restaurant and you didn't get your food, you're going to call them, tell them, hey, I didn't get this food. Normal people are going to apologize and give you the food and say that I'm sorry. You didn't do that. You sitting here with an attitude on the phone ain't helping nobody's case. So why are you sitting here saying, well, like, girl, shut up. Like, that is so rude and so freaking disrespectful. So I'm already out. So I go up there to get the chicken nuggets. Because I was already out driving around. And it was my food that went missing. So I went to go get the nuggets. I go up there, pull up to the window. I was like, hey, my mom called about some nuggets. The lady goes, the 4-piece nugget? Attitude. I said, yes, ma'am. I'm trying to be a nice person. You don't want to see me mad. Not trying to be corny. You don't want to see me mad. You do not want to see me ghetto. I'm classy. I try not to get ghetto. So don't be disrespectful to me at all. Because I do not take it. Simple as that. If you know me, you know I don't take it. So the lady's like, okay, you can pull around. I pull around, I get up to the window, I'm waiting behind a car. I see the lady give the guy his food, he drives off, I pull up to the window. She's like, so, I actually just gave away the last of the chicken nuggets, so you're gonna have to wait. Oh my gosh. How, like that don't even make sense. They told you I was gonna be there at 9:30. They told you I was gonna be there at 9:30. So how do you not have the food? How do you not have extra chicken nuggets prepared? Because you know I'm coming back. Like, that makes no sense. Oh my God. Mind you, still didn't apologize for the mistake on their behalf. The 2 black ladies working in Wendy's, their behalf, didn't apologize. It's not that hard to say, I'm sorry, it was my fault. Take accountability. If you can't take accountability, don't work in fast food. Don't work in customer service. It's that easy. If you hate your job, quit your job. Don't take it out on customers because you don't like your job. Quit. Instead of apologizing, she's like, so you're going to have to wait. But she was being generous when she said, but I'm going to give you 6 nuggets since you have to wait. And I'm like, okay. And now I'm getting irritated because now I got to wait for the food that y'all messed up. And I already had to waste gas to come back here to pick up the food because y'all failed to do your job, but just put the dang nuggets in the bag. So obviously, I know they saw them nuggets sitting on the counter because you didn't put them in the bag. So causing all this commotion over some nuggets, kind of crazy on your behalf. And when I say generous, it's really not generous at all, because when you work in customer service and you make a mistake, you say, hey, I'm sorry, it's my fault, I will get it fixed. And some people go to the extra step and it's like, don't worry about it, like, I'll refund you for blah, 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 blah. And some people are like, I'll give you extra blah, 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 blah. Okay? She tells me, I'll give you extra nuggets. I'll give you 6 nuggets. So I'm waiting. 10 minutes goes by. She finally comes out with the food. As she's walking away, I check the bag. There's 4 nuggets in the bag. I'm gonna be classy. I'm not gonna make a commotion. It's really chicken nuggets. It's not that deep. But for you to sit here, say you're gonna give me 6 nuggets, and then lie and give me 4 nuggets just so I don't catch an attitude with you because you did your job wrong and you want to be disrespectful to customers is really crazy. So guys, So to the Wendy's on Sunset Boulevard in Lexington, South Carolina, count your days because y'all were all disrespectful. Y'all were all very nasty. You're a bunch of liars as well. I don't care that you said you was going to give me 4 and gave me 6. I still ate the 4. It's not that big of a deal. But for you to sit here and lie, crazy. For you to sit here and be disrespectful, really crazy. So Wendy's, count your days. If anybody actually sees this and this blows up, please get those ladies fired because you don't know how to be in customer service and you shouldn't be in customer service if you're going to sit here and be disrespectful to customers. Thank you.